Hello. First of all, I want to welcome you to Blackford Junior High School. It's been a great summer for myself and my family. I'm sure you've had a great time and enjoyed yourself. I want to make sure that you're understanding that you need to be ready for education now. But again, I hope you had a great summer and welcome to Blackford Junior High. Some things I'm going to cover over the next 5 days. You'll hear me today for about 15 minutes, but within the next 5 days I'm going to cover a lot of information. So during the success time, during this time frame, you really need to pay attention to what I have to say. I'm setting the expectations for the year. I won't have anyone tell me they didn't hear that, or that wasn't said to them, or they didn't read it, because we're going to try to convey to you our expectations through multiple medias, not only your handbook, but through this video, as well as your teachers talking to you. So make sure that you understand, I will not accept someone telling me they did not hear that or know that. It's your responsibility to understand that handbook, but I'm also going to give it to you verbally. So make sure you've got it all in your head. I won't accept any excuses. Information I'm going to cover over the next 4 or 5 days. I'm going to cover respect. I definitely want you to understand that. I'm also going to cover fire drills, social safety tips, our progressive discipline policy, information on your new technology and the new tablets that you have in your possession, social web tips for you as a student, digital citizenship, actually saying something if you see something. I'll go over that a little more in depth later. Cafeteria rules and expectations, hallway rules and expectations, classroom expectations. Again, basic tech rules. We're going to be consistent as a school. Also going to go briefly over some tutoring. And the big thing this year, we have a new bullying law. And you need to understand right up front, here at Blackford Junior High School, that is not going to be something that we accept. No one will be bullied in this situation. Our climate does not allow it, and we will not have it happen. It's actually against the law. This year we can actually address if bullying goes on outside of the building. So if you plan on doing something outside of here that might affect our environment, I can address that in a disciplined manner. I can actually give you a hard time or actually discipline you if you're doing something inappropriate on Facebook. Even though it doesn't happen in my building, if it disrupts the climate here and doesn't allow people to learn, I can discipline you for that. So you need to understand that. I'll go in more in depth later about that situation. Mr. Grog will have a video that he's going to talk to you about that, but make sure you have it in your head. Bullying is not allowed to affect the educational process. If it's addressed in any way and it affects us in this building, you will be disciplined. So, components I want to talk to you about. First one, respect. The biggest challenges we usually have are when we say things that are frustrating to teachers, frustrating to our fellow students, and frustrating to parents. I want to make sure that you understand respect is something that is absolutely necessary for the educational process to do what it's supposed to do. If a teacher requests something of you, they shouldn't have to do that more than once. If a teacher gives you information about an assignment, show respect, write it down, make sure you have that information in front of you so you don't have to tell them, I forgot, or it didn't get done. Respect rotates around success in the educational process. Respect your other students that you're working with. Respect your peers. Make sure they understand that you're going to be an individual that always they can count on, that always has character. If you talk to any of our 8th graders, 7th graders, you'll hear them say that I always define character by doing what's right even when no one's watching. So make sure you've got character, and that's a component of that respect. Teachers should not have to worry about how you're acting if their back is turned. That's the sign of respect, by acting appropriately even when they're not watching. And that gives you some basis for understanding that people that are acting appropriately when someone's not watching has character. So I'll continue to reflect on that over the next week, but make sure you understand respect is a major component that's needed here at Blackford Junior High School. We won't allow people to be disrespectful. You will be addressed if you are. Computers in class. The basic guideline, the basic #1 rule is anytime you walk into a classroom, that computer should be turned off. Your tablet should be turned off. It should not be on. The only time you will turn it on is when a teacher requests it. So the tablets are always turned off when you walk in the classroom, not after you walk in the classroom. Turn them off. I would suggest turning them off as you leave your period prior to arriving to your next one. So make sure those computer tablets are turned off. They should not be on until a teacher requests that of you. They also should be on your desk until a teacher tells you to put them away. In other words, when you walk into that classroom, they'll be off. Set them on the corner of your desk so the teacher can see them. When they request them to be on, you turn them on. If they request that they go under your desk, you put them under your desk. But again, it goes back to respect. You will do as your teacher tells you. Make sure that that happens every time. Those computers are off when you go into the classroom, and they are not turned on until you're told to. Cafeteria behavior and hallway behavior. Some things I'll address further as the week goes on, but the scenario that frustrates most people the most is the volume level in the hallways. It's okay to have a conversation. Talk to your buddies. There's no need to talk to someone that's all the way down at the other end of the hallway and try to scream or yell. That's not going to be accepted. The volume level is a conversation level. No one should be screaming. No one should be yelling. No one should be utilizing any type of inappropriate behavior or language. So make sure you understand that hallway behavior is important. It shows who you are as a student. It shows how you have reacted to what I've been telling you. And you don't want to be insubordinate. You want to follow those guidelines. You want to be someone that I can look at and I can brag on when I go out into the community and talk to others. But make sure that volume level is at a conversation level in the hallway. During to and from lunch is where we often run into problems, as well as in the stairwells. Make sure that volume level stays low. There shouldn't be any challenges with that now that I've said something. So when you're coming back from lunch, just talk. Don't scream, don't yell, don't run. You're walking down a hallway and you're acting like young men and women. So make sure that you understand the difference between being in grade school and being in junior high. This is a mature situation. So don't let me take the opportunity to tell you you're not acting appropriately in the hallway. Same scenario with a classroom. If a teacher tells you a specific expectation, I expect you to follow that, just like you're going to follow the guidelines I'm giving you now. In the cafeteria, same scenario. The volume level should not be extreme. It should be conversation level. You're not going to be any louder than I'm talking now at any time. Don't turn around and yell at someone. Have a conversation. That's okay if you want to turn and talk to the person behind you or beside you. But you should not be speaking to someone 3 tables away. That is not an option. You'll have opportunities at lunch while the weather's good to go outside, blow off a little steam, play a little basketball, walk around out in the yard, but we're not going to in any way, shape, or form do anything that would disrupt the environment of this building. So again, keep those volume levels low. Handbook. This is your handbook. Everyone should have one of these. Make sure you know it. I want you to be able to go through this when I walk up to you and go, hey, did you read our progressive discipline policy? And when you turn to that progressive discipline policy and show it to me, I will know that you've done that. But it outlines just about everything you need to know. There aren't a lot of questions that you'll have if you've read this handbook. It talks about everything from bullying all the way down to how to act in the cafeteria. It talks about our new devices. It talks about our bullying policy at the state level as well as the local level. All your questions, I shouldn't say all, but most of your questions should be answered with this handbook. So definitely use it as a reference whenever possible. Our progressive discipline policy, one thing I'll tell you about that is that we start with an infraction that usually doesn't have a major connection of how you're going to be disciplined to it. So it starts small and gets bigger. Now, depending upon the infraction of the rule, it could go directly to suspension or even expulsion. But it is a progressive discipline policy. Starts small, gets bigger. But depending upon the infraction, and you know those infractions that I'm talking about, those things could get you suspended instantly or expelled instantly. So we don't want to have to go down that path. Everyone understands the things you don't bring to class, the things you don't bring to school, the things you don't do in our building. Everyone gets those. You've been taught all the way up through 6th grade. You're now 7th and 8th graders. These are things I really shouldn't have to cover too closely. But make sure you understand what's going on with that handbook. I'm not going to talk for a very long time. I'm just about 10 minutes out, which is going to give you about 15 minutes to go through that handbook and look at it. If you don't have one with you, utilize one of someone next to you. But definitely take the time to look at it. I'm also going to ask the teachers, after I get done talking, to basically survey you and ask if you have any questions about what I've said. It's going to give you an opportunity to discuss things. a chance to really say, hey, my understanding is we can do this. Is that true? We can do that. Is that true? Talk to these teachers. They're going to spend some time giving you the opportunity to ask questions. So please, please, please understand, I will always believe that you know what is exactly in this handbook. I will believe that you have taken the opportunity to read it because you signed off on it. Your parents signed off on it. That means they understand and agree with the guidelines within this book. So make sure you look at it and understand it. I don't want to have to refer back to it and show you something that you didn't know was in that handbook. The last thing that I will talk to you about is communication. The teaching staff and I truly believe that the best way to keep our climate as effective as possible is to communicate. That means talking. If you see something that you don't agree with, talk to a teacher, talk to myself, talk to Mr. Grog, talk to any of our staff and say, hey, I don't know if this is right, here's what's going on. That's the way we solve problems. That's the way we get things done around here so you can actually learn. You don't have to worry about what other people are doing or what they're saying. Talk to us so we can settle in and focus on what's appropriate, which is the educational process. My goal, your teacher's goals, we want you to learn. We want you to be someone that comes out of here going, I had a great experience, I learned a lot, the socialization was awesome, everything was good. But to be able to fix the things that can be challenging, we have to know about them. You have to communicate with me. You have to communicate with Mr. Grog. You have to tell your teachers if something's going on that you know just isn't right. Even if you don't want to sometimes, you have to step up and make a difference. You as students control the climate of our building. You let us know when something's going wrong so we can fix it. But as students, as leaders, you have the most impact. You can tell someone if you see them bullying, hey, we don't allow that here. You can tell someone or talk to us if you see something going on that isn't appropriate. You can fix it. You actually are the individuals that control this climate. I will step up and take care of the challenges every time if I know there are challenges. So make sure you tell me about them. Communication is the key to just about everything you can think of. Please, please, please talk to us. If you see something, say something. It is a great quote that I've heard this summer being utilized by a lot of schools. As a school safety specialist, it's my job to make sure you're safe and also that your education is going in an appropriate way. But if you see something going on that's bad, say something so we can fix it. Last thing I'll say one more time, my definition of character, make sure that you understand doing what is right is most important even when no one is looking. Make sure you're a leader. Make sure you do the appropriate things. I'm going to give you more information as the week goes on, but again, take this time to ask questions of your teachers. And remember, I'm excited about the year. We've got a great staff here to teach you. I know you are great students. Looking forward to getting to know these new 7th graders. I hope you guys are excited as I am. 8th graders, welcome back. You're a great class. Make sure you are showing these 7th graders how they're supposed to act. Convey those expectations. I go into the community all the time, and 8th graders, you know this, and I get to brag about how a great class you are. Just the way you are, the way you act, the way you learn. Please, 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 7th grade, allow me to continue to do that. Make sure you're acting in an appropriate manner. That when individuals of our community walk in this building, they are so impressed. Last year they were. I hope they will be again this year. Again, act appropriately, always have character, show respect. We remember those things. This year will be great. Talk to your teachers, talk to your students that are around you, and I will see you tomorrow.